Today, I'll examine the leading global codes of environmental conduct and the role they play in shaping responsible business practices. We'll focus on the international frameworks, standards, and agreements that guide organizations in managing their environmental responsibilities. The central idea is environmental stewardship, understanding how businesses can operate responsibly within a global system of expectations. This discussion will also connect those principles to broader business environments and concepts, giving us a foundation for understanding why these codes matter in practice. Environmental codes matter because they turn broad expectations about sustainability into practical guidance for business. As climate change, resource scarcity, and biodiversity loss become more urgent, companies are facing increasing scrutiny from governments, investors, and consumers. Global environmental codes provide a common language and measurable benchmarks. That makes it easier for organizations to demonstrate accountability, identify and manage environmental risks, and communicate progress consistently. Just as importantly, responsible performance can strengthen trust and help businesses uncover competitive advantages in a changing marketplace. The UN Global Compact, launched in 2000, is now the world's largest corporate sustainability initiative, connecting more than 20,000 signatories across over 160 countries. Its environmental principles translate broad sustainability goals into three practical responsibilities for business. First, companies should take a precautionary approach when environmental risks are uncertain. Second, they should actively pursue initiatives that strengthen environmental responsibility. And third, they should support the development and wider adoption of environmentally friendly technologies. Together, these principles encourage businesses to prevent harm, lead responsibly, and accelerate cleaner solutions. The Paris Agreement, adopted in 2015 by 196 parties, established a foundation for coordinated global climate action. For businesses, its significance goes beyond government policy. It signals a long-term shift away from fossil fuels and toward low-carbon operations, affecting investment, planning, and competitiveness. The key expectation is alignment. Companies should connect their strategies with national climate commitments, known as nationally determined contributions, or NDCs, and set emissions targets grounded in climate science. This creates a clearer direction for managing the transition and demonstrating credible progress. ISO 14001 provides a structured way to manage and improve environmental performance. Its core idea is continuous improvement using a four-step cycle. First, organizations plan by setting environmental objectives and identifying significant impacts. They then do the work by implementing controls, training, and operational procedures. Next, they check results through monitoring, measurement, and audits. Finally, they act by reviewing performance and improving the system. This framework helps organizations move beyond isolated environmental initiatives toward a consistent, repeatable management process. The Global Reporting Initiative, or GRI, provides the most widely used framework for sustainability reporting worldwide. It helps organizations disclose their environmental, social, and governance impacts in a way that is transparent and comparable. For the environmental dimension, GRI covers several important areas: energy consumption and efficiency, greenhouse gas emissions across scopes 1, 2, and 3, water and effluent management, biodiversity impacts, and waste and circular economy practices. Together, these disclosures give stakeholders a clearer view of how an organization affects the environment and manages its responsibilities. The OECD guidelines for multinational enterprises provide government-backed recommendations for responsible business conduct, including environmental stewardship across borders. Their central message is that environmental responsibility must be managed systematically, not treated as an afterthought. Companies should set measurable goals and use sound management systems that follow local laws and international standards. They should also apply the precautionary principle. Taking action prevents serious or irreversible harm even when scientific evidence is incomplete. Finally, transparency matters. Communities and stakeholders deserve timely, accurate information about the environmental impacts of business operations. The Science-Based Targets Initiative turns climate ambition into a verifiable process. Companies first commit by signing a letter, then develop emissions reduction targets using SBT methods. Those targets are submitted for expert validation, and progress is disclosed publicly each year. The key shift is from pledges to proof. Targets are grounded in climate science and align with limiting warming to 1.5 degrees Celsius. With more than 7,000 companies committed globally, independent validation also makes greenwashing far more difficult. The Convention on Biological Diversity is an intergovernmental treaty, but its influence increasingly extends into corporate world through the Kunming-Montreal Global Biodiversity Framework, adopted in 2022. The key shift is greater corporate accountability for nature-related impacts. Companies are expected to assess and disclose biodiversity risks, reduce practices that harm ecosystems, and support restoration. A central ambition is to restore at least 30% of degraded land and oceans by 2030. This 30 by 30 target is already reshaping environmental risk management for businesses with land-intensive supply chains. This table compares 5 major sustainability frameworks by who established them, what they address, whether they are binding, and whom they serve. The key distinction is focus. The UN Global Compact centers on broad ESG principles, while the Paris Agreement focuses specifically on climate and emissions. ISO 14001 addresses environmental management. GRI supports sustainability reporting, and SBT helps corporations set emissions targets. Most are voluntary, although their audiences differ, from all businesses and public companies to governments, certified organizations, nations, and corporations. The key takeaway is that global codes are business critical. Frameworks such as GRI, ISO 14001, and SBT may be voluntary in name, but investors, regulators, and customers increasingly expect them. The real goal is integration, embedding these frameworks into core strategy to create lasting environmental value, not simply checking compliance boxes.